Nice to be back on the court in the Siegel Center. Thought it was great that we could play a lot of guys and get some guys some experience. It was terrific to see our young guys out there playing together and doing some good things. They got a long way to go, but I'm excited about them.
How impressed were you with Justin Tillman? I mean, only under 20 minutes, he was able to go out there and get a double-double.
Yeah, I was impressed with Justin. I thought he did a nice job. He's a unique player. He has a knack for, number one, putting the ball in the basket, around the basket. He's a really quick finisher. He can turn and shoot in the air. And he's got really long arms, so he's able to corral some rebounds and make some plays. He's really made a lot of progress in about the last 6 weeks, because the first 5-6 weeks of school he was out with a broken hand. So now with him coming back and the progress he's made, we're excited about. But he's got a lot to learn, a long way to go.
When you come out for a scrimmage like this, I'm sure you have a couple things that you want to do and you want to see. What were those, and what maybe changes as you're going along that you want to see in the second half that you didn't see in the first half?
Well, number one thing I wanted to see is our guys take a step defensively from our last time that we played, which was a scrimmage over the weekend. And I think we got our hands on the basketball a lot. We had some good possessions defensively. I thought we started the second half well defensively. A lot to get better at. Obviously, our next opponent in Tennessee is going to be a major step up in weight class. We also, Wes, were looking for, just our team to play together and play for each other. I told these guys we were going to play a lot of guys and nobody was going to play really heavy minutes. And I thought our guys had a good attitude and really had a team mentality.
Coach, start with first play, go to Mo. How important is it to get him going offensively?
I mean, it's nice, but it's not a huge thing. I mean, I just like to get Mo the ball when we can because he does so many other things that help us. You want to reward bigger guys when you can, but it's not that we have to have the ball in his hands on the first play or he has to get a shot up early. It's a good matchup sometimes with him. Usually he has some type of strength advantage. It's an understatement. So if we can get him the ball around the basket, he can use his strength. And I thought he played well overall, particularly for only playing 13 minutes.
Coach, you've had a chance to see this team 3 times in game-like situations. I'm sure you guys do a lot of stuff in practice. What seems differently offensively with these guys? This team seems to be scoring basketball pretty well. Perhaps, maybe better than last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really early. We haven't even played a real game yet, but I would like to think our point guard play will be better this year than last year. Obviously we didn't have Bree tonight, and we won't have him on Friday night. But I think between Briante, Johnny, Jaquan, Torrey played some tonight. I think hopefully those guys can man the point position and run our team from an offensive standpoint a lot better than our point guards did last year. And then a lot of it comes down to, they say in the NBA, they say it's a make or miss game, so college too. Do you make it or do you miss it? You can get a good shot, but then you guys got to step up and make shots.
Any other questions? What about the 30-second shot clock tonight? What was that like? And any difference, or what did you tell your point guards?
We didn't even talk about it, and then going onto the floor, Wes, right before the game, Mike Morrell grabbed me right before our guys left the locker room and said, "Hey, do you want to say something about 30-second shot?" I forgot, to be honest with you, because it really has no impact on us. I think the only difference was we have to play defense for 5 seconds less in the long defensive possessions. I'm an advocate of playing with 24-second shot clock, but I'm a little biased towards the way that we play. I coached USA basketball a couple summers. In international basketball, the shot clock's 24 seconds. And if you're able to press and take some time off the clock that way, teams end up only having 12, 14 seconds to execute and run a play. And then at that point, you can switch pick and rolls, you can do some different things, and then they just got to beat you one-on-one.
Coach, how do you think the press has been doing? I mean, as far as growth from the scrimmages, black and gold game, young guys picking it up, how do you?
Just okay. We got a ways to go in the press. Got to get better. Again, last 2 times out, Florida and tonight, we didn't have Bree. He's, obviously our catalyst in the press. I think we have to watch some tape, and guys have to learn some things about positioning. Tonight we got some good traps, but then some poor rotations on the backside. If you get a good trap, then you got to rotate and run through that next pass. But a lot of times it was young guys tonight, so they need to learn. We got to keep showing them, watching tape.
Coach, what's it like from a coaching's perspective with Melvin's lighting up from behind the arc?
He's been shooting it well. He shot it well in a black and gold game. He shot it well down in Florida. He shot it well tonight. Hopefully that continues. I think, for Melvin, the key is getting great shots and being ready to shoot. And it's not rocket science. He's a good shooter. So if he does those 2 things, get great shots and he's ready to shoot, he's going to make his fair share. Maybe not 6 for 8 every night, but, he's our best shooter. He's a guy that can do a lot of things besides shoot, but that's a big element of what we need from him.
Next question.
One of the things that seemed to be, I guess, a concern, like in the black and gold game and then with the scrimmage in Florida, is fouling. There were a great deal of fouls apparently in those two situations, but tonight there were barely any. How have the players adjusted? Sorry, this is my first ever.
Why didn't we foul a lot?
Why didn't you foul a lot?
I'll ask you to answer it if you want.
Okay.
I think I could come up with some pretty good questions, actually. But you basically asked it. I just think tonight was such a different game. Again, the last 2 times we played against a high-level SEC opponent, and then before that played against ourselves. It's just different in terms of defensively. We still are going to have to get better at defending without fouling. I would guess that could be an issue for us early in the season, and one we've got to continue to get better at. Each time we get on the floor with officials, which we've probably had about 7 or 8 of those opportunities now between these competitions we've had and then some practices where we've brought officials in, I think it's good for our guys. But to be honest with you, and I love officials, but it's different, depending on the day too. So today they obviously let us play, which is always fine by us. We'll take that. But you never know. On different nights, it may be different.
Thanks, Coach. You love officials?
Yeah.